So I had to head back to Connecticut, do some work for my mother, get some stuff done around the house there since my dad had passed. And one of the things she had still sitting in there was his old log splitter here. I have purchased a newer one, 25 ton with a Kohler motor, and I have that here. But I was looking for one to keep up in New Hampshire, and this one was literally sitting there for years now, pretty much unused. I think my nephew had tried to use it once before and said something about how he thought it started to catch on fire and smoke, and I don't think it actually caught on fire. I think it started smoking, so he just shut it down. So unfortunately, with dealing with a lot of the scrap with these cameras, yesterday the SIM card in here went flaky, so I didn't have any footage. I do have some footage I took with my phone after the SIM card went flaky of me running it, and a picture of what was underneath that top, and I'll show that up on the screen in a few minutes. So basically, when I got it back here, first thing I did was double check the oil, added a little bit of oil into it. Oil looked pretty good. Checked the hydraulic fluid was good. I pulled the spark plug, checked it out. It was pretty decent. So I just pulled on here the rope just to make sure that the motor wasn't kind of getting caught up or froze up, and so that pulled out. That worked great. Stuck the spark plug over here, just more double check spark, pulled that. I said, all right, things were pretty decent. Went to move this linkage lever here, wouldn't move, pretty much rock solid. So I knew right then we're going to have issues with the carb. So I ended up pulling this off. There was no air filter inside here. I yanked the carb off, and I'll show you what that was in a few minutes. I got this linkage all freed up, sprayed up all that, and when I first put the when I first got here, it had no gas in it whatsoever. So I added some gas into it, and then I knew the carb was screwed because the gas was just pouring out. It was coming out through here, leaking down here over at the priming bulb too, which I didn't mind because I have a new priming bulb if I needed it. But so I knew that the float was stuck. So that's pretty easy. You pull off this little plastic casing for the filter, take off like three bolts that are in there, and then you can actually just pull this assembly out, and then you have two bolts back here. Now I believe these are 8mm. There's a 10mm on the carb. You pull that carb right off. The only thing you got to make sure you unhook here is the linkage here for this. Goes down through that, so as you're pulling the carb out, that will the rod will just come out of that hole, and you will just unhook your hoses. You got two hoses, one for the vent and one for your fuel line going in. So I said, all right, I can either order a new carb or I can try cleaning that one. And as luck would have it, I had in my spare drawer over there of different carbs, I had one that was very, very similar. Not exact, but when I pulled the bowl, this is the original bowl that came off of it, and I can't seem to find the drain plug down here that was in this one, but you can see the gasket still stuck to that. So the gasket was all shot on this bowl, and that plug was literally clogged up with all kinds of crap and sediment, and that other carb, the original carb that was in there, it was all wicked nasty. So I said, all right, that bowl on the other carb, this carb here, the replacement I had in there, same bowl, same plug, that was all good. Same rubber gasket, that was good. That's really what I needed. Actually, same float, had the same needle and seat, everything, all pins. So I ended up just taking what was in this other carb, clean that real quick with some carb cleaner. And the other problem I had was that the gasket that goes off here, off the back, going to the filter, Here's one of them. It was all ripped apart. The other, and both of them were shot. They were stuck on there. So all I had to do was take a little gasket maker stuff I have here that I keep, and I put the little gasket on top, took a Sharpie, drew it around it, and used a razor blade, cut it all out, made a nice new gasket for it. So once I had all these other parts good, I took that carb that was in it, and over here I've got a ultrasonic cleaner. I've always done an old school. I think I've only done like 2 carbs in this thing so far since getting it. But Chem Dip, you see that gallon? Stuff works fantastic. Or I've done it the old way, trying to clean it with the, you know, with wire and spraying it with carb cleaner, the whole deal. I use the Professional Simple Green in here and ran that carb in there twice for 30 minutes. And, you know, with the heater on, got the heat up to, I think it was like 40 degrees Celsius or something like that, and let it run. Carb came out fantastic. I mean, the freaking thing was great. All I had to do then was take some carb cleaner, spray the carb all out with it, and let it dry just to get any of that residue off. So I put it all back together, stuck it back on there, did a couple pulls, and fired right up. And then I'm letting it run for a test, and I could see it starting to smoke. So, see here? Yeah, as you saw with that picture I put up here on the screen, the mice all packed in underneath here, all behind the muffler, all up under there. You could barely see anything that was sticking out to even know that it was all packed in until it started heating up. So you can see I took the cover off real quick. That's just 2 screws. And then to get this off, it's pretty easy. 8mm bolt here, and then you're able to take this plastic off. I just take the cover off the gas tank, and once this comes off, there's another 8mm bolt right under here for the oil fill. Once you've done that, that can pull straight out to the side. And then this metal tin, you've got 10mm bolt, 10mm bolt here, and then I think it was 1 or 2, I think it was 2 8mm bolts on the back of this, on that metal. And then that lifts right up, gives you access to everything on the top of that motor. And then for there, it was just taking a screwdriver and the leaf blower and cleaning it all out and blowing it all out. Came up pretty good. Once I did that, put it all back together, and then fired it up, and she runs great again. Like I said, the air filter's coming in today. Only other thing I had to do, and I know everybody was so big on powder coating and how great powder coat is, and powder coat is nice until you get to the point where the powder coat gets pinholes, and all of this peeled back here on both sides. You can see it's starting to peel back over here. So all I did was ripped it all up, took some red spray paint, put some spray paint on it just to kind of clean it up, and then ran it back and forth a few times, try to get the little bit of the rust out of there. So this is the older version of the newer one that I bought. The big difference between mine and this one was that they made improvements. Mine's now a 25-ton. It has the Kohler motor. It has cleanouts down here. One thing I hate about this one is that there's no openings down here, so all the crap gets jammed under there, and you're constantly prying it out with a long screwdriver or something to keep it cleaned out. The other thing I don't like about this model, when you put it vertical, it does not lock in place. There's nothing here. You can only lock it when you've got it horizontal. So mine also has a locking pin, so when you put it in the vertical mode, it locks in place. But other than that, this thing is fantastic. I'm going to end up using it for any wood I need for up in New Hampshire. And also we have a bunch of down pine trees, so we're going to take those. They've been down for a few years now, probably 3 or 4. And it's coming to almost fall. and people are going to want a whole bunch of camp wood as it gets cooler. So I'm going to cut those up, split this up. I'll probably get a hand from a guy or two up there, and then we will set all wood aside for people who want to come over and grab whatever campfire wood they want for the rest of the year for the lake. So, you know, overall, no complaints. This was much better than I thought it was going to be, you know, other than the mice crap and the carburetor. But I kind of expected the carburetor to be kind of crap. So it probably took me a couple hours to get this thing up and running again, and then cleaned up. Probably 3 hours all said and done. But wicked easy. And like I said, if you can come across one of these where everything is good, the hydraulics and the ram and the motors just got some issues, and you can get it cheap, grab it. Because worst case is more than likely just going to be a problem with your carburetor. And even if it isn't, grab yourself a little Predator motor. You know, you can get the vertical shaft ones and throw it on there, and then have yourself a nice log splitter.